I have to squat down a little bit. This camera is a little too short for me. So I just want to say, guys, thank you for showing up on a Wednesday night. You are going to get so much knowledge tonight. We're going to tell you exactly why you made the right choice to join our group, BFSR. And not only that, we're going to tell you why flipping is actually the better way to become a real estate millionaire, especially if you're willing to put in the work, right? So we're going to talk about BFSR, which is our method that we teach to buy, flip, sell, repeat, versus a very popular BRRR method. We're not saying the BRRR method is bad, but we're going to tell you why we think BFSR has some serious advantages. All right, so I'm going to flip the screen around and we're going to get on the whiteboard and we're going to get right to it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is, just a brief overview of why we think that this is a way you can 10x your cash flow, right? So BFSR and BRR both are good methods, right? BFSR we think is better. It's going to take a little bit more effort, but it's going to get you where you want to be much, much faster. And in fact, you're actually going to be able to 10x your cash flow on an annual basis if you follow this model that we're going to lay out for you. And so just, what they don't tell you about BRR, right? Like people will say that BRR is passive income. But you can tell that to a guy we know named Brandon, right? He had a rental property portfolio of 23 properties. He should be living large, right? Like a lot of people would dream to have that. But he might have felt that way at first, but after running around dealing with tenant issues, repairs, finding rentals, so on and on and on, he was very tired. And so eventually the straw that broke the camel's back was a tenant getting into him for 10K, right? Her son had clogged every toilet in their house to the point where, by stuffing toys in it, to the point where when they had flushed the toilet, it had backed up the system and completely flooded the basement with actual, shit. And so he needed a better way, and he eventually moved to flipping senior family living facilities and now makes over 100K per month from that business. And that is passive, by the way. We aren't saying that BRR is bad. It's actually just slow and steady. And so what we're going to actually take advantage of to 10x our cash flow is the power of compounding. Einstein actually called it the eighth wonder of the world, and he said that those who understand it receive it, and those who don't will pay it, right? And so we're going to help you understand how you can be on the receiving end of compound interest. And so it's a simple fact that you can compound your money. If you can compound your money 20 to 40% on a deal like you can in a flip, you'll end up with significantly more wealth and assets than if you do it passively. And so we are also, and I say passively, right? We are also able to do multiple flips per year, so that number can easily get above 100% annually. And so just to show you some quick math, right? So for BRRR, right, let's just say you invest 10K. And so you've invested this 10K into a property, and it has a really amazing cap rate, and it has an amazing price appreciation. You're going to max out your rental at 25% a year, and that's great. That's nothing to shake a stick at. And so, after 5 years, right, if this is grown at 25%, right, for 5 years, that's going to get you 30K. That's how much your asset will be worth at the end, right? That's how much cash you'll have collected. And so, again, that's nothing to shake a stick at, but you're not going to retire at that rate, right? On BFSR, though, right, if we take that same 10K and we are investing it at 100%, so basically we're multiplying it by 2 for 5 years, that is going to get us 320K. So not only have you 10x the value of your asset, even if you guys are in the same place and you take that money and you invest it in a more pedestrian asset, right? Let's just say you take it and you invest both of these in a 10% yielding property, cash on cash yield, which is more typical for a multifamily. And so every year you're going to have 3K in cash flow. Over here you're going to have 32K. So you put in 5 years of profitable work on this in order to build a portfolio that literally is throwing off slightly more than 10 times the amount of money. And so that is, to us, is really what the opportunity here is, and why we think that if you want to actually build real wealth in real estate, you need to take a faster approach. You can if you want to do this method, and this property will keep growing at 10% and keep growing at 10% and keep growing at 10%, and you can count on that. That'll be slow and steady, but at the end of the day, it's going to take a long time, right? We're not that patient, and so but again, like if you decide, let's just say you do this for 10 years, right? That number is going to grow by more than double, right? Because it's growing exponentially. And so you're going to have a huge base of capital that you can then go invest into your passive real estate or to the stock market, or maybe you just want to buy a Rolex and move to the Bahamas. I don't know. This is really going to get you your dream scenario, whereas this is going to get you, a few extra bucks in retirement. And so, that was all I had to say on the math today and how you can actually 10x your cash flow using our method. So I'm going to try and flip the camera around. I'm still new at live, so forgive me if I don't figure this out. I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to try and answer some questions, excuse me. All right, so it looks like there's no questions right now. Ibrahim, I see you're on here. If you have a question, feel free to DM me. I think you're in the group if I remember correctly. And have a great night. Thanks, guys.